Morning, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It is early morning and we have a bunch of material back from PCGS. Most recently, one large order came back yesterday, and I want to try to get this video done before work, so it'll be rather quick. It is this 41 item submission that just came back yesterday. Prior to that, a few days ago, we had this 6 coin submission. I'll get into those, what happened with that one. The 2 above it, the world economy, is being shipped today. This one's not too far behind it. The world modern, this had the 1999 China pandas, 1991 small date sheet of China pandas, all 10, came back MS69, which is still a success because those are $200 to $250 coins. MS70, the population is very low, 11, didn't make any. 2,000 and up according to the last several auctions, although the state of the market, I wouldn't be surprised if those are selling for 1,000 to 1,500 now. But again, it's a specialized thing. Something like that, you're almost probably better off having great collections sell it for you. I've been watching great collections a lot lately, and they seem to really be getting some strong bids. I'm watching stuff like BU rolls of 1964 Kennedy half dollars selling for over $300 a roll, and that's before the 10 or 15% buyer's premium kicks in. So tip my hat to them. They're a great outfit. I buy from them occasionally. I've never consigned or sold through them, but they seem to be getting some very, very strong bids, whereas a lot of other stuff is quite flat right now, especially eBay. A few other things up here, including one that's not here, not showing yet because it was just shipped a couple days ago. The peace dollars are still, oops, we don't want to see the results, so I don't want to misclick. The peace dollars are here, and they are still being worked on. That's the commemorative, the Vermont, the Stone Mountain, the Lexington, Pilgrim, and then all the peace dollars, all those. So those are still being worked. The 21 piece dollar, and I think it's an 84 cc, are being imaged. So that tells me it won't be long before they make the encapsulation stage or the grading, even though it doesn't even show grading, the fact it's being imaged. This isn't always up to date. And by the way, folks, after numerous comments of not using a knife, everyone challenging my dexterity, I will now use this broken off Q-tip as a pointer. So, advice heeded. Okay, so the World Modern, I'll show a couple of these. We did get a couple MS70s on some Australian lunar series coins, but the bulk of that submission were these China pandas. 10-1, 1 ounce China pandas. They all came back MS69, all 10 of them. We also sent in a 1999 small date panda, which also came back MS69. So, as you can see, the MS70 population of 11, the 2400, the only auction showing here is on eBay for $950, but there are others. They just don't show them here. You would have to go here to auctions, and you can see the most recent one was a MS69 that sold for $216, yet one a month before sold for $128. MS68, 70 bucks, another 69, 180, a 67 sold for $122. There's not a lot of MS70s. You have to go back. There's the one we saw, the 950, the PCGS. It's really not that many others. The auction record up here is 2,500 back in 2018. It's safe to say it's at least 1,000 in MS70, and it's safe to say it's at least 150 in MS68. Oops, I don't know what happened. So all those pandas, and then we started the Australian lunar coins, and again, all of those came back 69, except for we sent in this goat came back 70, which is a good one. The population in 70 on this one is low, if I remember, only 9. So that's a good thing. You can see the MS69s are selling very, very, very cheap for the most part, under 50 bucks, which is pretty much what a raw coin would sell for. And then the other one, oops, it keeps bringing the other one. We had 2 monkeys. One came back 69, one came back 70. I looked at those 2 coins side by side for probably a half an hour, and didn't really see any difference. I know in the photography, this one seems to have more of a cameo. That's not really true when you look at the coin. They're literally identical. I mean, let's see, I have one of them here. Here's the goat. I mean, you know, we'd have to break out the electronic microscope, right? Because I'm not a big fan of this MS70 grading game. I just happened to buy these at one of the Centennial auctions. I like the look of it. I love Australian. The Perth Mint is probably my favorite mint when it comes to designs. These were bought mostly for myself, my own collection, with no real intent of selling them. And I just love them, you know. But I'm not a big fan of this MS69, MS70 modern grading game that goes on. But these were sent in, A, as an experiment, and B, especially the pandas, because that was a whole sheet of them, and I still have a second whole sheet. You know, the pandas probably will have that resale value. I'll probably sell half of them if I'm able to. Anyway, the other 6 coin submission had the 1909 SVDB cent, which ended up already selling. We knew that would be genuine. It was a good details that was genuine. And then there was the 1877 Indian head cent, which came back very good details. We expected that to be a genuine as well. There was surface problems with it. We also had this 1878 CC Morgan, which as I predicted a 63 on it, and pretty much where it came. You know, it's an average run-of-the-mill, nothing special. It's just a white coin that's got a few bag marks. That's right in line with the grade. And then we had this 88S, which, again, I pretty much called that grade if I remember. I think I said it was a 62 or a 3. And here it is. So those came back as expected. And then the one other coin that came back was, interestingly enough, the Proof Walking Liberty Half. 1942, which a beautiful coin with like champagne colored toning, which PCGS said was questionable color. But they put a sticker on it saying we recommend conservation to improve or enhance the appearance of this coin. So we already sent that in to try their restoration for the first time. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it's a little bit of a conflict of interest, but at the same time, you kind of, you know, I trust them in that respect. But that coin sat in a craft envelope for probably 20 years, maybe longer, and that's where the toning came from. So whether it was artificially toned before that, I guess nobody really knows, but it didn't look like it to me. So there it is there, genuine on details. So that was sent in for conservation. We'll probably see that in a month or two. And then the other 2 right here. So today we're going to dive into this 41 coin submission. And this is the box. Remains sealed, as you can see. And we'll be right back to open it. And we have opened the box. And because there were 41 coins, we ended up with 3 boxes. Single coin box with all the receipts and all that fun stuff. We'll say C or 3 of, yep, C of C. Oh, there's my name. Okay. C of C. Put this down for a minute. There's B. There's A. I always make sure to send you submission forms, and now they're actually advertising to sell on Whatnot, which I just haven't gotten on board with Whatnot yet. I know some people love it. I think if anything, it would be probably a good place to buy, because I think they're not getting as much action as they could. So we've got A, B, and C. And you can see everything is sealed up, nothing's been cut. I haven't looked online, so I'm sure there will be good, bad, and ugly. And I've got my trusty grade concealer. And we're going to do this quickly this time, even though I say that every time, because I have to go to work. I have to get ready. I've got about an hour before I need to start getting ready for work. So, all right, I got them facing the right direction. There's our first 20. And I really can't honestly remember everything that's in here. I do know that there are, really quick, there are some half dimes, some seated half dimes. There are a lot of Morgans. I believe the 81 and the 84p Morgan are in this one. There are some colorful piece dollars that came in 3 cases. I sent in the most vividly toned case, which had an amazingly toned 1922. Some people loved it, some people didn't love them. I just thought the color was amazing. Now it'll be interesting to see if PCGS calls them genuine, because the color is, I haven't seen anything like that on piece dollars before. So I know they sat in those cases since the 70s. I know the collection I bought them from. And speaking of collections, I have bought a couple of larger collections in the last couple of weeks. One of them was had 18 proof silver eagles in their original box. Every year was there from 1986 through 1997 or 99, and there were duplicates. I think there were 3 1990s. There was 2 94s, which is a good year. 97 is a good year. And then there were a handful from 2000 through 2006, amongst a whole bunch of other stuff. So we'll show that down the road. But yeah, the piece dollars came from a large collection, the same collection where the sheets of 1991 small date pandas came from, the same collection where the 1924 AccuGrade 1924 St. Gaudens double eagle came from. So they had a lot of cool stuff. Also the same collection where the 81 and 84 Morgan dollar that we're about to see later in this video. And all of those cases from INS, the sister company to Heritage Auctions in Dallas, Texas, that had all those graded, quote unquote, dimple Morgans, 78S, which definitely was not even proof-like in my opinion. I'm not sure what they saw on that one, but the others, especially the 82S, definitely is all there. The 81S and the 80S were probably more like PLs, but those haven't been cracked out. Those are sitting in their original holders. I haven't made my mind up if I want to take them out or not. Probably going to leave them in there, at least for now. All right, time's of the essence. Let's see what's up, what's on top first. All right, this has got to be the 1914 D penny. I expected this one to genuine. And the fact that it didn't is pretty remarkable, because I think this had surface problems similar when the 1909 SVDB and the 1877 Indian This came all in one lot from one of the Centennial auctions, and they were all sold together as problem coins, 3 classic dates with problems. And I haven't seen this coin since probably November, but last I remembered it had problems, but clearly it's not genuine. So I don't know if PCGS is getting softer. I know the video quality again is not superb, but I am not a fan of the light box I bought. It doesn't really give, it is too much reflection on the lights in it. I'm upgrading that to a better one, so hopefully we'll have that for the next video. But based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like a fine, probably a fine 12. I think the rims are strong. I don't think there's any detail, enough detail on Lincoln or the vest. There's a few lines. You can barely make out his ear. The wheat stalks are, there's some lines there, so I do think this is going to make a fine. It could be a VG10. I think it's a fine 12. All right, it's good to see that I'm getting better at grading these, because when I first started, I was terrible at it. So that's a nice start to things. Again, we're going to try to go through these quicker than we have in the past. I'm sure we're going to start to see the genuines. We have some nickels, and I think this is one of them. And this was kind of a throw-in. There's 2 of these, I believe. I didn't know. They were just thrown in for fun. They're not valuable coins. I don't think there's anything rare or anything about them. They were just pretty decent shape. This is an 83 with cents, not the, or without cents, sorry. The with cents is the rare variety, rarer variety. Without cents is the common one. So I thought this was probably an AU 58. You know, it's definitely not mint state in my opinion. It's got, you know, it doesn't have the full cartwheel, and there's a little bit of chatter, or not chatter, but rub. So I'm thinking it's an AU 58. I think it's a nice coin. I didn't know if it was going to genuine or not, because these are pretty tough on these, surprisingly. Trying to make a little bit better setup here. Let's see if that helps. Okay, a little better. All right, AU 58, no cents. So we're 2 for 2 exactly on the grade. Look at that, huh? Impressive. I like the AU 58 grade because obviously it's popular for everyman sets. Taking a sip of the coffee. It's 7:45 in the morning. We've got exactly 1 hour before I have to get ready for work. And we're up to our first genuine. I knew there'd be some. This one's probably going to be bagged for being cleaned. Again, not a valuable coin. I want to say this is like a 1907 or something, 1910. I forget. It was a middle year. There was nothing super special about, 07. Another one I thought had a shot at an AU 58. Couple of hairlines, I think. Probably going to hold this one back as being cleaned. Probably AU details cleaned. Unk detail cleaned. Wow. How about that? Well, that's I won't say disappointing, but it's to be expected, I guess. All right, let's see. What do we got next? These half dimes, I've never sent one of these in. I don't know what to expect. I don't really know how to grade them other than comparable seated Liberty dimes and quarters. So I can't really remember everything that was sent in. There was a bunch of them. I ended up paying like $5 each for them at the auction. So whatever they grade, they can't be that bad. So 1853 with arrows. I mean, it looks like a VF 20 to me, but again, I don't have a lot of experience. You got, I don't know if the Liberty means a whole lot on these because it's so big anyways, but you got some three-dimensionality on the stars and pretty good detail on the drapery, separation of the drapery and the breast. Maybe it's a VF 25 even. How about a 35? That's a nice grade on that coin. That's a real nice grade. Yeah, again, I told you, I don't have a lot of experience on these, but the closer I looked at it, the more I thought it was better than a 20. All right, on to the next one. I'm sure there'll be some clean ones on these ones, but I tried to pick out ones that had nice original skin. There was about 10 or 12 of them, and I think I sent in maybe 4 or 5. Another very similar coin, 53 with arrows. Almost looks like it's twin. I think this one might have slightly less detail. It looks like the drapery isn't quite as full. There's not as many lines. I would say this one might be closer to a 25, maybe a 30. Okay, there we go. I wonder if PCGS is hiring. I doubt it. All right, here's a genuine. Let's see why. I can't remember. I can't remember these coins. Hard to tell if the camera's just not great here. 1865. Is this the 65S? It is. There's the S under the wreath, if you're not familiar. This was one I was hoping. This was one of the better dates. Hoping to get a decent grade on this one. But looks like that's not happening. Maybe environmental damage, maybe cleaned under the toning. Could be cleaned under the toning. That's always hard to pick up unless you look at it very closely. Damage. All right, VF detail damage. Interesting. Maybe I'm seeing it now. There it is. See that? That got by my eye the first time. There's the damage. Gosh darn it. It normally wouldn't be submitted, but I must have missed that one, but it's pretty obvious now. It's punctured. All right, well, it's just me being quick and sloppy. Here's another genuine. I knew some of these would come back genuine. These are the cap bust half dime. These are really tough. So let's see what we got on this baby. Probably cleaned, yeah, there's that clean look. 29, worn. Again, just sent in for fun. Wasn't sure if it was AG or G. It looks G. You know, the reverse is stronger than the obverse, which is usually not the case on these coins, but the stars are pretty much all gone up here, and half the date, probably AG details or G details. Yeah, AG detail, look at that, because the obverse is so weak. They'll always err on the side of the lower grade, as they should. All right, there's a couple genuines, and we're back on track. Straight graded capped bust half dime, say that 5 times fast. It's good to see. There's a pretty nice reverse. Probably good if the obverse cooperates with a similar amount of detail. Yeah, we got all the stars on this one. We got a nice strong date. Full rims, right? So that leads me to think good 6 with the full rims versus good 4. We do have some 3-dimensionality on the stars. Obviously the Liberty is huge, so I don't think Liberty plays as much of a factor in these coins. But you can see the separation on the stars. Might even be a VG8, but I don't think so. I don't think there's enough on the portrait to get to VG8 or the Eagle. I think it's too flat, too worn, too rough of a surface. I think the surface being rough. Good 6 is my guess. How about AG3? That's crazy. That seems low, right? Doesn't it? Again, this is not my series, but I don't know about AG3. Maybe because of the weakness over here. I guess so. If you don't have full lettering, maybe that's going to be the maximum grade. Again, it's just not my strong suit. I would have thought this was a good, All right. This is a learning experience, if nothing else. And we have another genuine. We're not surprised. These ones are, again, they're tough. But this one, of course, has better detail. But I can see right away, and I knew this one, I remember this one, has some rim damage. I didn't know if they would sneak it through. Because I was told by Brian Greer, who's a long-time numismatist, very well known for his passion for seeded and cap bust coinage, excuse me while I take a sip, that they're a little more lenient on these because they're 200 years old. But I don't know where that line is. So I sent it in because of the amount of detail on this coin. You know, there's some more rim damage up here, so probably too much rim damage. Maybe if there was one small hit, they'd push it through, but there's just too much. So maybe it's fine detail on this one, because you can see you've got good eagle, neck feathers, wings, legs, claws. Everything is bold, a lot more bold than the last one. The six-sided stars, you can even see trace luster, you know, hair curls. It's all there. So I would say this is at least a fine detail. Might even be pushing very fine detail. Even XF detail. I knew there was luster. I said trace luster, and that usually does result in an XF. It's too bad. Edge damaged, and they are correct, but still, it's a nice coin. And the fact that it got to the XF detail is, you know, I'm sitting here saying it's either fine, maybe very fine, but I'm clearly off by atmospheres. You know, the distance from Pluto to Mars. All right, we're still in the genuine, another genuine. They're tough on these, another cap bust, nickel or half dime. And this one again has more detail than the first couple. Again, first time sending these in, didn't know what to expect. Don't have the edge damage on this one. And again, we start to see almost trace luster, but this one seems to be a little more worn than the last one, so I would say this one might be very fine detail. Let's see if it's cleaned. Bent. XF again. Wow. Where's the bent? I don't remember this one being bent. It must be just slightly off proportion. Hard to tell in the edge holder. I don't remember it being bent at all. It might be off by a couple degrees. Obviously, if you lay it flat on the table, you can see a little bit of a buckle maybe down here. You see the way the light changes? That's probably where it is. Another one that snuck through. But these coins were $5 each. $5.47 in fact. And I thought they were worth sending in. So we have another XF detail. So that alone should be appealing to someone. And we have one that made it through. This is a cap bust dime. Beautiful design. Love the eagle on these. This one is not genuine, so that's a good sign. Question is, what kind of grade? Hard to tell, man. When that first one was AG, I thought it was a good 6. This one, definitely no XF. Definitely not XF. Based on what I'm seeing, it's probably a fine 15 or a VF 20. I just don't know if it gets to VF. Maybe it does. I'll say VF 20 just based on the way they detail graded the last couple. VF 20. Yep. All right. I learn quick sometimes. Nice coin. Beautiful. Small 4 variety, as I noted on the submission. Here's one. Another not genuine. That's good. Less detail than the last. Rims are full, but weak. Not a lot of feather detail. The reverse tells me very good. The obverse tells me probably just good because there's nothing. There's nothing. This could be a good 4 or a good 6 maybe. I don't know if it's a good 6. I think they're going to call it a good 4 because there's just nothing on the design of Liberty. I'll say good 4. All right. At least I was in the stratosphere. Nice coin. Nice coin. Oops. All right. Not genuine. And we have up to the standing Liberty Quarters. Nothing special here. No rarities, just some coins with nice surfaces that I thought that warranted sending in. So I've sent a few of these in the past, and I think I have an inclination on how they would grade something like this. You have good, decent amount of detail in the wings of the eagle. Flat over here. Overall, pretty nice detail, nice color. Decent detail, strong date, the stars, everything is in good shape. I would say this is like a VF 25 or 30. I'll say, I don't know if it's going to make 30. I'll say 25, just for the heck of it. Couldn't be further off. I had some other ones that were nicer than this that they didn't grade XF in a previous submission. Had I not, in that first submission, I would have called this XF, but I wasn't really expecting to see it on this one. I'll take it. I'll take it. Here's a genuine Standing Liberty. I wonder why. Probably cleaned. I don't remember them again. These were kind of, this all came out of an album. I think I paid $5 something a piece for them. And this was the 18D. That's too bad because that was probably the only one that was a better date. Not really sure why they would genuine this one unless they think it's clean. Or maybe there's the scratch. See that scratch? That's exactly why they genuined it. Another one that I didn't see when I sent it in. Or I did see and thought it was close. I don't remember. I probably saw that. I wouldn't have missed that. So it's got to be a scratch. Yep. Yep. Makes sense. It's fair. If you're the buyer, you'd like that to be pointed out. So as disappointing as it is, it's fair and it's accurate. So we tried and we got what we deserved. All right, so here we go. Not genuine. Good start. Nice little bit of trace luster. Not as much detail as we saw on the XF. Leads me to think we're at about a VF30 based on that reverse. Although the obverse looks very nice, just like that XF40. I think it might just be shy. I'll say VF35. Yep, there we go. Because that reverse, I would say. I think the reverse held it down. I think the obverse is XF. Sweet coin. Attractive coin. Someone will want that. Another one, we escaped the genuine. We have a half, ooh, I forgot about these. There's a couple of these. Seated Liberty $half. These were part of the Centennial auction too. I think both of them came for, I don't know, 60, 70 bucks each, 150 for the two, I forget. There's another one. I want to say this is a 56.0, I think. What a memory, huh? I don't have a lot of experience sending these in. Liberty is not full. And we've got a lot of weakness here, so I'm not sure if this makes fine. I would have to say probably VG10. Pretty coin. I'm going to say VG10. Or fine 15. Hey, what's 5 points amongst friends? I guess that Liberty doesn't have to be full for a fine in these. Another learning lesson. I don't know about fine 50. I mean, it does have, I don't know. What do you think? Overgraded? Accurately graded. Definitely not undergraded. I don't know. Maybe fine 12. All right, we escaped genuine on both of our seededs. Seeded Liberty halves. This one has more detail. Clearly, the wings are more full. You get some subtle rose tones under that wing there and some aqua up here, which attests, see how deep the toning is into the metal? It's deep, deep, deep at the molecular level, which is what they look for as a sign of an original coin. You know, this coin seems very original to me. So many different things that tip it off to the experienced and trained eye. 1876p, right? Yep. All right. I don't remember this coin all that well. Looking like a VF. We got the full Liberty. We got more drapery. We got some six-sided dimensionality on the stars. Definitely not XF. I would say VF30 is fair. What do you think? I'm going to say VF30. I am just like killing it. I'm either right on or I'm way off. I think that's a nice coin. And I think it's fair and accurately graded. We're going to do 3 more and take a quick break. Here we have the Barbers. We have 4 or 5 Barber halves that I think are all going to be in that fine 12 to VF 25 range. This is probably an 08D. I don't think there's anything rare except for maybe a 19090. So here we have the full Liberty. Pretty much a little weakness on the B and the E. B-E-R, yeah, a little bit of weakness going on. But there's enough. Should be a fine 15, I think, based on what I'm seeing all overall. This, you know, the cheek is, you know, not flat as a pancake. The stars are propped up. There's good wreath detail. Wings are halfway to the tips. We got neck feathers, claw. I'll say fine 15. It could be a VF 20 or even a 25. I don't think, yeah, I mean, they don't just go by the Liberty. A lot of people look at the Liberty and then they call it a day, and that is just one facet of the equation. All right, next one up. It might even be an 07S. I can't remember. I think this is the 090 because it's in New Orleans and there aren't that. Could be an 080. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I think it's the 090. It is, and this is not genuine. Oh, that's a good sign. This is one of the better dates. New Orleans, like all other New Orleans coins, are known for weak strikes. This one has a nice crusty reverse, darker tone. You don't have the horizontal shield lines. That could be a strike issue. You don't have the eagle neck, but again, the whole thing is flat in the center because of a weak strike for the most part. I think PCGS has enough wisdom to know that. But I still think it's barely a fine. So it's a 12 or a 15. I think it's a 15 because you're starting to see some trace luster. You're seeing the cheek pop up, but they could call it a 12. Yeah, 15, there we go. All right, and we have this one, and we'll take a quick break. Another non-genuine, which is a good sign. And we have an S mint. This is either an 11S. I don't remember. Yeah, 11S, okay. This one's a little weaker. This one, and this one, interesting. Fine 12, I think. Maybe a 15. I don't see the same pop as what I saw on the choice fine, the 15. Everything's flatter, and it's a San Francisco coin. Everything's flatter. I think it's a fine 12. I wouldn't be surprised if they VG10'd it, but I think it's a fine 12. Yep. All right, then take a quick break, warm up the coffee, hit the head. That is box number 1. Box number 1 is in the books. We're going to go to box number 2. We'll be right back. Okay, folks, we are back. We are back. Box number 2. Box number 2. Hope it's okay to use the knife on the tape, folks. We'll be very careful not to scratch the plastic if we can. Start to get into some of the Morgans in here for all you, oops, probably scratched the plastic. What the heck is going on with this? All right, I think we got it. All right. Box number 2. Start off with a non-genuine and a peace dollar. Peace dollar. Oh, this must be, oh, that's the back. Sorry. That's the back. Yep. All right. That's going to be part of those toned peace dollars. So here we have another D Mint Barber half. And let's see. Decent detail on the reverse again. We're in that fine 15. We're not really seeing much neck feathers. The claw feathers are weak. Wings are halfway. Overall, solid detail. 12D, very common date. Very common coin. Looks like a fine 15 to me. Just looks like a fine 15. I don't think we're quite at very fine. And I think it's better than a 12. Okay. All right. Maybe PCGS is hiring. What do you think? Walking Liberty. Ooh, I'm glad to see this is not genuine because if I'm not mistaken, I sent in a pair of 1919Ds, which, as you probably know, is a key date. So it'll be interesting to try to grade these. Pretty sure we're in that very good range. The rims are full, but weak over here. There's really no detail on the eagle. This coin is known for being weakly struck, but that is wear. There's no eye on the eagle, right? So this might be even just a good. Let's see what the obverse. Yeah, this might be too flat for VG. This might be a good 6. I don't think this makes VG. I think I thought it was close when I sent it in. I don't think it's a VG though. I think it's a good 6. Might even be a good 4, but I think it's a 6. It's got the full rims. And it's got some detail. It's starting to come, the right, Liberty's right breast starting, but there's not much detail. Good 6. Okay, there it is. Still a nice coin, a valuable coin. We have one more 19D. I'm just hoping it's not genuine, but it is. You can never get 2 of these through, and this one, I knew this one was the better of the 2. These are so hard to grade. I've sent in a lot of these 1916 to 1933 walkers, and they're just super tough on them. They really, really are. I wonder what is holding this one back. They must think it's cleaned. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what they're seeing yet. I'd have to look at it under a loop because I'm just not seeing anything that stands out in terms of damage or a scratch. So, I mean, it's got to be the fact that they think it's cleaned. So, cleaning comes in so many different ways, right? It doesn't have to be hairlined. All right, so this one is probably fine detail. No, VG detail. You know, when they detail them, they also tend to, I won't say net grade them, but they're stricter on the grade, which was really why I was shocked that we had XF detail on that cap bust, half dime. Maybe it is a VG without being cleaned. It's close, so it's probably a VG 10, but hard. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it is what it is. We have a couple more walkers. I know there's a 33S. This might be it. I don't remember if there's a 4 or 5 of them. If this is the 33S, it's probably the last one. 23S. Oh yeah, I forgot. I might have 2 of these. I can't remember. I love that toning on the side there. It pops a little better than what it's showing. Yeah, see the red under "In God We Trust." You can catch it in between the T and the Y of Liberty as the coin rotates and tilts in the light. This one, it's got skirt lines. And it's a post-21. The hubs were changed after 21, so the skirt lines will be more evident, and the overall detail is a little bit better on these post-21s. I was hoping for a fine. I don't see why this wouldn't. It's got the trace luster popping. You see the little bit of luster trace, trace luster popping through. I think I'm disappointed if they don't call us at least a fine 12. All right, I'm going to say fine 12, but it's probably a VG 10, knowing them. All right, we got the fine 12. So, not a super valuable coin, the 23S in this grade. I don't know, 60, 80 bucks, I don't even know. Yeah, another one that's not genuine, that's good. Another S. It's probably the 33S. I don't think I had another 23S, but I might have. And I didn't send a 27 or a 28. Maybe it's a 29S. I don't remember. Yeah, 33. I thought so. All right, so on this one, I'm glad it's not genuine. We do have the full breast line pretty much. Don't think it's going to XF though, because there's just some weakness here, and it's just a little bit not quite there for XF, in my opinion. Not enough on the eagle. Eagle's breast is flat, kind of. VF 30 or 35 maybe? Yeah, I'm going to say VF 35, even though it might just be a 30. Okay. I knew it was just shy of XF. Still a nice grade, not a super rare coin by any stretch, but I thought it was worthy of sending it in, partly as an experiment, partly as a curiosity. I don't think it really helps the value along. Okay, so make sure we get the right one. We have another genuine, and what do we got here? I forgot about this coin. I forgot about this cap bust half, and it's genuine, which is sad to see. It's just a reeded edge half. Oh, this is a cap bust half. Yep. I think there's one more of these actually. Maybe it's cleaned, I'm not sure. But you see that toning on, of America and above the eagle. Maybe that's more of a retoning by the, they're probably calling it clean because of the separation. The toning ends and then there's a strip under the motto. So maybe just the way the toning pattern, maybe they're saying, you know, I don't really think there's too many hairlines. Yeah, it's got to be cleaned and it's got to be maybe fine detail, very fine detail. Small date, small letters, exactly what I put on the submission form, but sad to see that. That means this one's probably clean too. Let me see. Yep, another genuine. I knew there were two of them. What is this one? This is the reeded edge one. I don't remember what I sent in. I wonder why this one is, yeah. This one was sent in again as a throw-in because I don't really handle a lot of these, but I wonder what the reasoning is on this one. Probably a good details. Scratch, all right. I missed another scratch. I don't know if that's it down here. I don't think that's it. I don't know where that scratch is. I don't think that it's a die crack. I don't think that's a scratch. I don't know. It's got to be, that looks like it's part of the design. Oh, I see it now. Very faint, toned over. It's pretty subtle, if that's it. I'm kind of surprised. Usually a scratch of that size is not noted, especially on a 200-year-old coin, but it is what it is. Or at those Morgans, maybe this is one of the 79S's. If so, it's not going to have a super high grade. I sent in a couple. I bought a roll of them at one of the Centennial auctions, and I picked out a couple of the nicer ones. I'm expecting like a 64 on these, if I remember correctly. I would probably not have sent it in if I thought it was a 63. Yeah, 79S, so, I mean, it's got a nice clean cheek. I probably sent this one in on the premise it's a 64 or better, but I don't see it making 5, even though it's got a clean cheek and overall clean fields. I don't think the luster is all there. There's some chatter between the wing and the wreath, but that's pretty minor. A little more on the other side. I think it's a 4. 3 even, okay. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have sent that one in, but I did. So, it is what it is. There should be another one. Another 79S, I think. These were the appetizers to the main course Morgan dollars. Yeah. Another similar coin. I think this one has better luster, a better overall look. This one should make a 4. The last one didn't. I don't know why it wouldn't be a 4, but then again, they may not like the luster on these. They may keep this one to a 3-2. So it's a 3 or a 4. Or a 5. I don't know. I didn't think the luster was strong enough on this one. But I knew when I sent them in that they were at least I thought both of them were 4 with an outside shot of a 5. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to embarrass myself, but I wouldn't send them any other reason. They're just too common. The 63 was a little disappointing, but this makes up for it. All right, I think we're going to get to the good ones, and hopefully we don't get any surprises in the form of genuine. So I don't remember specifically which is which. I don't remember the toning being like that on the $81, so I'm not sure which one this is. It could be the 80. I don't think it is, though. Usually I send them in chronological order, so after the 79, I would think it would be the 81. 86. Okay, this was an INS coin as well. Yeah, this was an INS coin, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just because of the toning. A little bit of color, a little splash of color. Some chatter there. I would say this is a 4. Ooh, they didn't like it, huh? I wonder why they held it down. See, they probably think it was over dipped, but I don't know. Maybe the muted luster look on the reverse they're not a fan of, but I do like that look myself. But I've noticed in the past when I've sent coins in with that look that they do tend to be kind of harsh on them. All right, and this one is genuine. I'm very curious. This is probably the 88.0 that I was hoping for a PL, and obviously we're not going to get that. That's going to be a disappointment. So let's see, probably cleaned, I'm going to guess. Yeah, 88.0. They must call it clean because this definitely was PL. I don't know about that. Wheel mark. Ah, the old wheel mark shows its ugly head. You know, I look for those too. This is the first wheel mark I've gotten. I'm going to have to look for it because they're hard to see. You have to really look for it. That's too bad because it definitely would have PL'd. That's my first wheel mark. I do look for them, but if you see it, let me know because I am still not seeing it. I'm sure you know what the wheel marks are, and you can look them up if you're not sure. Counting wheel from a machine. All right, let's see. What do we got next? This is the 81. I believe it is. And then we'll have the 84, I believe. Yep, here's the 81. So this is one of our hopefuls that we get at least a 65 on. I don't see why they wouldn't 65 it, but it's a game of craps, man. It's a game of craps. Yeah, I'm going to stick with my guns and say that it's a 5. Yeah, they're just so rough on these, huh? They don't like to go to that next level. When the value jump is significant, they're just very hesitant to do it. So that's a little disappointing. I don't really agree with it. I'll probably consider resubmitting that one, but we shall see. All right, they definitely have their methods. This one, I'm not sure if I remember either. Well, this could be the 84. I don't remember the toning being there, though. Yeah. Probably going to give me another 64. If the last one was 64, I don't see how this one makes 5. Nice little strip of rainbow toning up at 12 o'clock on the obverse, and 6 to 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on the reverse. It's very clean. A little bit of some chatter down on the cheek and below the chin. 64 plus. Ay. All right. Close, but no cigar, I guess, right? I don't remember what coin this is. 040, that's what it is. Yeah, the last of the INS. Well, I've had a lot of positive surprises over the last couple of years, so these ones are a little disappointing. I don't think this one will be any better than a 64 based on the others. This one has nice toning, pastel colors. Let's see what they do with this one. Another 4. Yeah, they're tough. They're tough. I'm surprised the 79S came back a 5 because I thought that was one of the weaker coins of them all. I think we're getting into the colorful piece dollars. Obviously colorful on one side. They did straight grade it, so that's a good sign. Kind of surprised. Didn't necessarily know what to expect. But this came out of a case, and it had sat in that case for many, many years. And once it came out, I put other coins in it, and they're locked up and put away. We'll see if they can tone again in a similar fashion. I put a Morgan dollar in one case and a piece dollar in another, or a few of each, to see what kind of toning that case imparts upon those coins after a few years. So we'll check back in 2 or 3 or 4 years and see if we've had any progress. This one's probably a 63 or a 4, and it's got the toning, obviously. Yep, 64, so that's good. People who like toned piece dollars, I'm sure that will be calling someone's name. All right, we're starting to get a little low on time, but we're almost out of coins. We only got 5 or 6 left. There's a 23, I believe. They're all piece dollars at this point. Oh, another 22, that's right. 2 22s and then a 23 through 6. All P. Nothing special, like I said, just the color. This one has a couple of hits on the cheek and on the neck. Probably a 63. The luster isn't quite as strong. Probably a 63. Even 2, yeah. I was going to say maybe even a 2, but I revealed it before I could say it. All right. I don't think these are as vibrantly toned. I think the 22s were the most toned. So this should be a 23. Yeah, I take it back. This one did have a lot of toning. This one has pretty good luster, not a lot of chatter. This one could make 4. It's a 3 or a 4. Maybe a 3. 4. Okay. You know, $50 coin without the toning. I don't know what kind of market for that toning there would be, if any. Genuine. All right. I wonder why this one's genuine. They all came from the same place. Don't even give me the questionable color after the others. They must say it's clean. I don't know. Planchet flaw. How about that, huh? Planchet flaw. We're getting all kinds of good results today. Planchet flaw. Interesting. Not seeing it yet. If you see it, feel free to put it in the comments. I'll have to look closer. I'm not seeing it. All right. It should be a 25. Yeah, not as much color. Yeah, the color faded as the years went on because it must have something to do with the way the case was set up. There must have been a lot of sulfur or something at that one end of the case versus the other. I'm not really sure. I'm not a scientist. This one's probably just a 3. All right, it's a 4. It should be the 26. Oops, 63, we see it. Yeah. Sorry about that. And this one does have more color. Be interesting to see the true views. There's a lot of subtle colors blended in different areas. There's one more coin, which, since that was a 26, I'm not even sure what the one more coin is. It could have been something other than a piece dollar. I don't think it was another piece dollar. Could be wrong. Probably wrong. Opening that last case. Whatever it is, it's genuine. So, oh, Pilgrim. This was one of those INS Pilgrims. I don't like this one for some reason. They're tough on commemoratives too, aren't they? I forgot about this. So what's the problem with this one? This was part of that collection from November, not the INS. Was it INS? Not INS. That private company. Questionable color. We got every possible problem code. You know, we got the 91, we got questionable color, we got the 92 cleaned, we got the planchet flaw, we got the damage, we got edge damage, we got the wheel mark. I think we covered them all. We got a few nice grades, we got some surprises, good and bad. We got some head scratching results on some, as a lot of people get. I have to say, I haven't had a lot of head scratchers. This one is close. This one's kind of a head scratcher, but that is what it is. So we will pull up that submission. I just want to take a look at, it'll probably take a while to load because there's 41 coins. Just want to see the true view on that 1922 piece dollar. Okay. You know, the surprises started right with that first coin. I didn't expect this one to straight grade. And then it just kind of went from there. There's your wheel mark, 98. That's a disappointment at 81. I think they undergraded that. Just to show you the big difference from 64 to 65. You know, it's not that big of a difference, but it is pretty big. And then on the 84, 64 plus is a bit of a cop-out if you ask me. You know, here's again, you see the jump. You know, it's a $10 jump from 4 to 4 plus. And then, you know, it doubles. 040, nothing special. Here's the piece dollar with the color. So that one, yeah. Again, I was just kind of curious if they would even straight grade it. And to my surprise, they did. They straight graded all of them except for the planchet flaw. This one. I just don't know where it is. I mean, is that it? Pretty minor if it is, right? Or is this it? Over the piece? It's gotta be, right? You know, I don't know. If any of you guys know or have more experience on identifying those planchet flaws, please chime in. All right, but I have to get ready for work. It's getting late, and 8:30 in the morning, and I appreciate all your time. Thank you again for spending all your time watching this long video, and we'll have more to come because we do have this world economy submission coming back probably next week. And then shortly after that, we have this, which is a lot of large cents. So if you're a fan of large cents, you can see it's being imaged. 1838 and 1837, and then we get into the braided hairs, 1847 through 53. We have a couple of colorfully toned nickels that were thrown in just kind of as a whim. A 1938 cent, which was, believe it or not, I had 2.5 original rolls of Lincoln cent pennies, 1938, and I pulled a nicer one out from one of the partial rolls. And then some more proof half dollars, so that's not an exciting submission. And then this world economy will be back next week. And then after all that, these are the piece dollars. These two of the 1921 piece dollar and 84cc. They're being imaged, so they should be back in another week or two. That's a recent submission. And then we have that proof walker for restoration, which will be on this manifest in the next day or so. So I want to thank you again for your time, and like, comment, subscribe. samscoinsandheavymetal.com, samscoinsandheavymetal@gmail.com, and you can find us on eBay under the same name with an underscore in between each word. Sam's Coins and Heavy Metal underscore in between each word. Thank you again. Take care. See you on the next one.